guys. I'm just going to do a little wine matching food training session today. The aims and objectives of this training session are to identify different grapes and the flavours that they come across, what grapes and blends complement what food, and what affects the flavour and the quality of the wine, so like the growing techniques and that kind of thing. Just a bit of background information onto why we're doing this today. In the past, consumers have relied on service providers to spoon feed them their information, so they would just take exactly what you said to them as to be true. However, in more modern, due to technology, television programmes and the internet have provided a lot more useful information, as they can actually get facts and that kind of thing rather than just believing what you say. So it's important to know all about the products that you're selling, and hospitality operations must be prepared to correctly answer the questions about the products that they're selling. Some of the reasons for the training today, due to the evolution of consumers and their palate, being knowledgeable about the products that they are purchasing and consuming has become vital in the co-creation era. Co-creation is where consumers and companies work together to create a product that everybody's happy with. There are many different disputes on how to match different wines with food, but it's clear that certain flavours complement one another really well, and we're going to have a little look into that now. It would be good if you could just jot down a few little notes once we get to the food comparison side, because I'm going to give you a little recap at the end, and we're going to do a little role play as well, so you can figure out exactly what's what. Okay, so there are loads and loads of different grape types, huge amounts, but these are the most popular ones. I'll go through red, white and rosé. So we've got Merlot, Pinot Noir, Syrah or Shiraz, which are exactly the same thing. It's just Syrah is grown in France and Shiraz is grown in South Africa. Other than that, they're exactly the same. Tempranillo, which is like Rioja, it's grown in the Rioja, in Spain. Cabernet Sauvignon and Sauvignon. The Sauvignon can be two different colours, red or white. So you've got white Sauvignon, Pinot Grigio Blush for rosé, and then Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Viognier, and Pinot Gris, which is very similar to Pinot Grigio, but it's just grown in a different area, so they have to call it a different name. Okay, what affects the flavour? There are two different elements that can affect the flavour of wine. These are the soil. Different qualities of the soil provide different qualities and flavours to the wine. And climate. Different climates affect the level of alcohol and the sweetness and the acidity levels. Just a little bit of jargon about the mineral contents of soil vary, but the poorer the quality of the soil, you get low yields but of really, really good quality wine. However, with really high quality soil, you get, doesn't really make any sense, but it does, you get really low quality wine, but a huge amount. You can take huge yield of wine. You have to when you're growing wine, you have to make sure that the roots go really deep so that they extract the moisture and the minerals, but whatever the soil, you have to make sure that they're not going to get waterlogged, because otherwise they just end up drowning and not going to go properly. Reliable or unreliable climates, you can grow both. It doesn't really matter where you are, but it does help that if the warmer the climate, the better the wine is going to be. Generally speaking, wines produced in hot climates have higher alcohol content and lower acidity than ones produced in cooler climates. Okay, so if we just go into the grape varieties and the flavours that are detected. So you've got Merlot, which is quite a soft red wine, so it matches quite well with softer. You tend to think that red wine goes with heavier foods, but it's soft and fruity with quite sort of red currants and berry flavours. Pinot Noir is quite dry, but it tends to have a higher alcohol content than quite a lot of other red wines, so it's usually left to ferment for longer. So you've then got strawberry, cherry, raspberry, blackberry, so you've got more of the forest fruit flavours coming through again. Shiraz is a bit heavier, it's more full-bodied, so you tend to need a heavier dish to go along with it. You've got licorice and clove and black pepper and plum flavours, so they're a lot stronger and heavier, so you need something to match up with that. Same again with Tempranillo, but it tends to be a little bit earthier. You've got, it's a quite difficult flavour to describe, but compared with, say, Shiraz is quite fresh, but Tempranillo tends to be a little bit earthier. And then you've got Cabernet Sauvignon, which is again full-bodied, but it is a lot spicier. It's got much more warmth to it. And then Zinfandel. Zinfandel was grown in California, so it's got a higher acidity and a lot higher alcohol content as well. Really high in tannin, so you get that film over your tongue. So you need something to counteract that when you're eating. Again, it's quite aromatic as well. So whites. Chardonnay is the most popular white wine drunk throughout the world. So you've got a buttery, kind of oaky flavour with a slightly tropical, fresh citrus undertone. Pinot Grigio is subtle, really subtle, really light. Tends to go quite well with lighter foods, so salads and that kind of thing. But sometimes it can have a little smoky undertone depending on the vineyard that it's grown in, that kind of thing, and what it's left to ferment in as well. Pinot Gris, very similar to Pinot Grigio, but has a lower acid content. It's usually grown in cooler climes than Pinot Grigio. Sauvignon Blanc, there's two different ones. Classically, that was French, which is quite a fresh, grassy, mineral tony kind of wine. But now New Zealand have taken it to a whole new level, and you've got gooseberry, which is like if you drink New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, it is the most obvious flavour that comes through. It's quite bitter, gives you, not bitter but tart, it gives you kind of that little flavour at the back of your taste buds. Riesling is German. German wine you have to actually quite like German wine to drink Riesling. It's usually quite sweet. Viognier again is medium to sweet. Personally not my taste, but it goes very well with certain acidic foods. Okay. If we go through the food types that these ones go with, so you've got Merlot, which is massively versatile, so it can go with anything from poultry, red meat, pastas to salads, so you can have tuna salad or spaghetti bolognese, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever what you drink with it. Pinot Noir, you need stuff a little bit heavier, so you've got lamb, wild game, cheese, chocolate, all that kind of thing, quite heavy, strong flavours to go along with it. Shiraz, due to it being quite aromatic, it can usually take quite a lot of things, but tends to be with red meat a lot, like you don't tend to see it with anything else, or grilled vegetables, so it's got heavy flavours with it again. Tempranillo is usually quite light, so you can pretty much have whatever you like with it. Tapas, because obviously it's a Spanish wine, so it's usually paired with tapas, and that can be a huge range of pork, chicken, vegetable salad, whatever you like, fish, pretty much whatever. Cabernet Sauvignon, red meats again, but pastas, but make sure they're like spaghetti bolognese rather than carbonara or seafood pastas. Lamb and again cheese. Zinfandel, due to its acid content, it usually can handle quite spicy foods. So you've got Cajun food and Asian spiced food, but it can also be matched with seafood. Then we go to the whites. So Chardonnay. If you drink white, you'll know, most people know that you have chicken or pork with white, you don't tend to eat anything else. But it goes quite well with creamy sauces and buttery sauces. Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris both go very well with seafood pastas and light cheese and crackers, so it's quite a good after dinner kind of white wine to have. Sauvignon Blanc, because of that it's got really high acid content, so it can cut through quite creamy sauces, really like garlic and oregano and that kind of thing. It can also then go with Thai food and chicken, obviously. Viognier tends to go quite well with quite strong flavours like ginger or garlic, because it complements the flavours really well. And then Riesling, pork, poultry, and again, quite spicy foods, due to the other flavours that you get through, they tend to cut through the spice. Okay. So, we're going to do a little role play. Just giving you a little menu here, and so you've got, if you just want to jot down what these are, and I'll go back to the slide before, so you can just make sure you just pick one or the other, and discuss between the pair of you which one you think would go with each, which one would better match match them. Okay, cool. So there we go, just have a little drop down, a little chapter in yourself for a couple of minutes, and then we'll look at it. Okay.
There's some ones I would go quite well with the Pinot Grigio.
Especially the spike bowl, so I reckon maybe Pinot Grigio or Blue.
Yeah. Like mellow to the sparkle.
Yeah, cool. Ready? Okay, so what did you say for, if we go for the seafood for the starter?
That was the Zinfandel.
Yeah, possibly, yeah, it could go quite well. Or then if you wanted white, you've then got the option of Pinot Grigio as well, or Chardonnay, so they both would complement quite well. I heard you talking about spaghetti bolognese, which one did you go for?
The Pinot.
Yeah, the Pinot Grigio could go quite well, but again, I think possibly the Merlot, due to the flavour of the red, it tends to bring out the tomato a bit better than the Pinot Grigio. And fruit salad and Cabernet, I put them on there, but usually you have dessert wines with them anyway, so we're not tackling that today. Okay, if we go for a little recap, what do you think affects the flavour of the wine?
The soil and the climate.
Perfect. Wines that are good with poultry and pork?
That was maybe Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir would go, yeah. And then if you went for white, what would you go for white? No, Chardonnay would be good for that one. Okay, 3 different popular grape types. You've just named 2, so I'm sure you can think of one more.
Chardonnay, the Merlot, and the Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, perfect. And why is it important to keep up with consumer and business trends?
Because our customers are more knowledgeable about the products they're asking for.
Perfect. Well done. Well, that's cool. Well done, guys.